Hey Dot, it's Professor McCulloch. I wanted to try to better explain to you the algorithm very quickly. So you have you have all perps, you have all d-perps. For each I, from 1 to 25, for each I in all perps, you make a graph. And then you have all of the graphs. I think that's called all initial graphs. You make all of the graphs just based on putting edges for each I based on the d-perps. Okay, so you have that. I want to just better explain the next step because it's actually simple if I could explain it. So let me just show you on here. So this is like step 1. So you have to loop through like A, B that are in, graph 1, and they have the same color. So first of all, before that, you color graph 1. At the first stage, it'll just be coloring initial graph 1. You color initial graph 1, then you loop through all of the ABs that are the same color. You could assume like, A less than B. All of those pairs. Then what you're trying to do is the following. So here's AB. So that means that inside of 1, AB are in the same line in the GQ. In the GQ line that comes off of 1 is from the ovoid. They have the same color, so they're in the same line. So you're looking for this. You're looking for all of the Z's that are in I. Sorry. We drew this before. That are into I, J. Wow, it's not letting me draw good. I and J. So I and J are other points. So they are other things in all perps. And you're looking for, so I, J are greater than 1. You're going through all the other all perps and you're looking for the Z. So basically what this would say is that we should say what this would mean. That like A, first of all, A and B are already in the all perp for 1, and they have the same color when you color the graph for that. But what this would say is that A comma Z are in the all perp I, and B comma Z is in the all perp J. That's all I'm saying. So you're trying to find all the Z's that have that. And then what you do is you do something along these lines. You say like, if A comma Z, that edge not in the graph for I, and the edge BZ is not in the graph for J, then you want to just add exactly one of them. Into one of those graphs. That'll prevent a triangle from being colored later on. So the way I would do this is with like the toggle variable. I think I call it like F, the toggle variable between 1, 2, and 3 in my program. If F is at 1, it picks the first one. If F is at 2, it picks the second one. If it's 3, it picks the last one. So what it should do is it should look at the chromatic number. Here's where you're testing the chromatic number. You're testing what happens if I add edge AZ. So you're like adding AZ to graph I, and you're also adding BZ to graph J. And then you're looking at the chromatic number of the new graph, right? And you're trying to keep the chromatic number, at 1 plus t. So basically, you're just kind of now doing a little test. And you're saying, I'll add AZ to the graph of I. If it goes up, I definitely don't want to add AZ. Then you check BZ. If that one doesn't go up, you definitely add the BZ. So you look at this and you make a decision. So basically, these are the if conditional statements. You know, if both of them make it go up, then you can't color it. If exactly one of them makes it go up and the other one makes it stay at 1 plus t, you pick the other one. If both of them are possible valid ones that make it stay at 1 plus t, that's when the toggle comes in. It tells you either pick the first one, pick the second one, or make it randomized. And that's it. That's the whole program. So let me just go back to here. I don't want to take up too much of your time. That's the thing you're checking, right? And that's how you're deciding which edges to add. And this is looping through all of the ABs in the graph 1 that have the same color. So you've colored graph 1, you're looping through the ABs, and then within that loop, you're looping through all the Z's. And you're checking if AZ is not in the graph of I and BZ is not in the graph of J, then you're going to go through the algorithm. And that loops through all the ABs. Then you've colored, you're done with graph 1. Then you come to graph 2. You color it. And then you do the same thing. You're taking the ABs in the graph 2, and then you're looking at ovoids IJ bigger than 2. Because you're done with 1, and you've taken care of all the triangles that come out of 1. Then you color 2. Now that coloring will create triangles for the graphs beyond 2. So the IJ is beyond 2, and you do the same thing. And then you're done with 2, then you come to 3, right? Then you come to graph 3. You color it. And then you pick first you loop the ABs that have the same color in graph 3, then the Z in the further IJs, and the IJs are bigger than 3. You look for the Z's that make the triangles, and you continue, and then you color all the way down from 1 through 26, or for whatever 1 plus ST is. You're coloring up until 1 plus ST. And then you're done. You've gotten the coloring. If you're successful, you could color it and keep the chromatic number at 1 plus t each time. Then you have that coloring done for 1 through 26. You've colored them all, and then you build the GQ. And I told you how to do the GQ. We know how to do that. So that's basically it. I'm going to sign off now. And have a good night.